Can everyone hear me? Hi. Thanks for coming to the No Kings protest. We're going to have 2 speakers, and then we're going to speak on safety, and then we're going to march down to Broadway. Okay? Okay.
All right, everybody, it is Flag Day today, so we are going to be starting with the Pledge of Allegiance to show that we are patriotic Americans who want the best for this country. So, all together, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So my name is Raknerud. I am a local leader here in the Democratic MPL here in Minot, and I'm here today because here in America we say no to kings. And some people around here might say that's hyperbolic, and to some extent I get it. Donald Trump was president from 2017 to 2021, and a lot of that first term, it was basically like George W. Bush, but he had a Twitter addiction and a cable news addiction. Life kept going on as usual. There wasn't reason to be out here like this. Unfortunately, those times have changed. We are in a constitutional crisis, like pretty much at this point. The executive branch is trying to consolidate as much power as possible into the one. It is explicitly laid out in the Project 2025 agenda, with Russell Vought as the head of Office of Management and Budget, and we have seen the effects here in Minot. That's what my sign denotes today, is all these organizations have been cut or completely gone with overstep of the executive branch that was not authorized by Congress. We have the North Dakota Center for Persons with Disabilities, an essential lifeline to so many people, and it's just gone. No act of Congress, no nothing. The executive branch just says we're done with it, and our members of Congress aren't saying anything about it. The Burdick Job Corps. So my wife is a teacher at the Boys and Girls Ranch, and let me tell you, the Burdick Job Corps, they can tell you how imperfect the numbers are all they want nationwide. It is a lifeline for so many people who are at the worst stage of their life. We have the Boys and Girls Ranch out there that so many of those students consider Burdick Job Corps to be one of their only options. In 7 days' notice, they closed it down. No act of Congress, nothing. They technically have the ability to pause locations for safety reasons, and they just paused them all. That is not the intention of the law. It is king-like behaviors. So we're here today to say no to those kinds of things. Going further down, MSU AmeriCorps, same story. FEMA. Everybody who's from Minot knows 2011, FEMA was essential to rebuilding this city, and now they want to follow the Project 2025 agenda and get rid of it. It's troubling, and we need to stand up against it. Finally, what I'll say is, so many times you hear from people saying, we're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic. And to that I say, okay, sure, let's start following the Constitution, how about? Thank you.
What Zach didn't tell you is that back in 2020, he ran for U.S. House. I was running for state legislature at the time, so, you know. Is that better? Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Start over.
So, I've been around a few days longer than Zach has, and I remember the Cold War. And one of the things I remember from the Cold War are parades through Red Square of Soviet military power. Their soldiers, their missiles, their tanks rolling past Red Square. We've seen the same thing with Kim Jong-un. We've seen the same thing with authoritarians all over the world, co-opting the power of the military as their own. Just recently, Donald Trump spoke at Fort Bragg, and he turned it into a campaign rally. He has this thing called Campaign 365. Now, I served in the Navy and Marine Corps. I'm a retired Marine officer. My son served, and both of my sons-in-law served. This is not what our military is supposed to be about. I never heard any politician ever come to a military situation, a military event, and make it partisan political. And we cannot let that happen. We said the pledge just a little while ago. And at the end of the pledge, we say, and liberty and justice for all. That is why we are here. We believe in liberty and justice for all, not just a few. And if one person does not get due process, then we do not have justice for all. Now, I remember also back in 1991, we went into Kuwait after Saddam Hussein had invaded and taken over the oil fields there. And we went in and we rolled over them in a matter of days. And Iraqi soldiers were surrendering by the thousands. And on the nightly news, you saw them, and they were chanting, George Bush, George Bush, George Bush. Because to them, George Bush was the government. Because for them, Saddam Hussein was the government. But the American soldiers serving under this flag didn't see things that way. That is not the way it has ever been in the United States, because our military serves all of us. It serves our government, which is we the people. Now, and now we have a president who would like to be the government, it feels like. And we have people who follow him who want that to be the government. They want to have exactly that, what Saddam Hussein had. He was a minority ruler. He was from the minority Sunni population of Iraq, and they ruled over the majority with an iron fist. That is not how it is here. And it's not how it's ever going to be here. And if they think it is, then they are underestimating the American people. We are an unruly bunch. That is not going to happen. But the first thing that has to happen is our federal delegation has got to start speaking out. They have got to find their courage. They are afraid, apparently. So when they don't say something, when President Trump goes to Fort Bragg and politicizes our military and they don't say something, that is endorsement. Their silence is consent. When we have this military parade spending millions of dollars and they don't say something, that silence is consent. When their colleague, Joni Ernst, says cuts that are going to shorten people's lives, that, well, we're all going to die someday, and then reiterates it in a smarmy video at a cemetery, and our federal delegation says nothing, that's endorsement. Their silence is consent. But we do not give consent for that. That is not our America. That is not what our flag stands for. And we are an unruly bunch, and we are not going away. Thanks.